There's just something special about the good old 22 long rifle. It has been around for well over a century, yet it refuses to fade away, even with all the newer and more powerful rimfire options out there. This little cartridge still owns the crown for pure shooting fun, small game hunting, and sharpening marksmanship skills. The ammo won't drain your wallet, recoil is practically non-existent, and it's the kind of round you can shoot all day without getting tired. But here's the part most folks overlook: this little rimfire has a lot more capability than it gets credit for. Today, we're going to dig into the real performance side of the 22 long rifle, details that the average weekend plinker never thinks about. We'll cover the barrel lengths that get you the best results, the twist rates that stabilize your shots, and why your choice of ammo can completely change how this round performs. So grab a cold drink, settle in, and let's break this down for the diehards who want to squeeze every bit of potential from their gear. Before we jump in, do us a quick favor: hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future deep dives like this. Now, let's talk about why the 22 long rifle is still one of the most useful cartridges in any shooter's lineup. When it comes to sheer versatility, very few calibers even come close. It's easy on the budget, effortless to control, and capable enough for a wide variety of uses. Whether you're punching paper at the range, knocking down tin cans, or stalking squirrels in the woods, this little cartridge gets the job done. And if you pair it with the right load, it can surprise you with just how much punch it delivers. A perfect example? Back in 1953, a 63-year-old Cree woman named Bella Twin became a legend near Slave Lake, Alberta, when she took down a massive grizzly bear with nothing but a single-shot 22 rifle. And not some fancy custom rig, either. We're talking a beat-up, bolt-action 22 Kui Ace I, patched together with tape. She waited until that bear was practically on top of her, lined up her sights, and dropped it with a single well-placed shot to the head. No trick shots, no gadgets, just rock-solid nerves and perfect shot placement. Now let's be clear, that does not mean you should consider a 22 long rifle your go-to bear gun. That was an extreme, once-in-a-lifetime situation, not a tactical plan. This round was built for varmints and training, not for taking on apex predators. Trying something like that on purpose would be asking for trouble and possibly a visit from your local game warden. Stories like Bella Twin's are incredible and show what the 22 can do in the right hands, but the smart move is to keep it in its lane: small game, target work, and building skill. Because when it comes to practical, affordable, and endlessly fun shooting, nothing really beats the 22 long rifle. As a training tool, it's second to none. You can spend an afternoon at the range putting in serious trigger time without burning through your bank account. And for casual plinking, there's just something satisfying about lining up a row of cans and knocking them down one at a time. You'd think that with all the advances in ammo and firearms tech over the years, some newer round would have replaced it, but here we are, over 100 years later, and nothing else has really taken its place. Of course, the rifles chambered for it deserve their own spotlight. Classics like the Ruger 1022, Marlin Model 60, and Savage Model 64 have earned their place in just about every gun cabinet in America. They're reliable, easy to run, and simply fun to shoot, perfect for both seasoned marksmen and first-timers. Sure, there are people who'll dismiss the 22 as underpowered or outdated, but that completely misses the point. This round isn't designed to overpower, it's designed to excel at what it does best. Until something comes along that can match its affordability, accuracy, and all-around usefulness, the 22 long rifle is here to stay. That said, performance isn't just about the cartridge, it's also about the rifle you're running. One of the most overlooked factors is barrel length. With the 22 long rifle, the sweet spot is between 16 and 18 inches. That's where you get the best balance of velocity, accuracy, and overall performance. Go shorter and you sacrifice some speed because the powder doesn't get a full burn. Go longer than 18 inches and you start losing velocity due to friction. The low-pressure nature of the 22 means extra barrel past that point just slows the bullet down. So while a long, heavy barrel might look like it belongs on a precision rig, in the case of the 22 long rifle, it can actually work against you. Stick to that 16 to 18-inch window, and you'll get the most out of one of the most timeless cartridges ever made. A lot of folks still cling to the old idea that a longer barrel always equals better accuracy. That may hold true with certain high-powered centerfire cartridges, But the 22 long rifle plays by its own rulebook. This round doesn't need an overly long stretch of rifling, it just needs enough barrel to hit optimal velocity and fully burn the powder. Go much past that sweet spot and you're only adding weight, slowing down your swing, and making the rifle less handy. The truth is, if you want the best balance of speed, accuracy, and handling, stick to a barrel somewhere between 16 and 18 inches. That's the sweet range for everything from plinking and target shooting to bagging rabbits and squirrels. Sure, you can go shorter if you're after a light, compact setup, but be ready to sacrifice a little velocity in exchange for maneuverability. Barrel length, though, is only half the story. The other critical factor for squeezing the most out of your 22 long rifle is twist rate, the speed at which the rifling inside the barrel spins the bullet. That spin is what keeps the projectile flying true instead of tumbling. A twist rate marked as 1 turn in 16 inches is the standard for a reason. It stabilizes the bread and butter 30 to 40 grain bullets perfectly. That's the weight range most shooters rely on, whether they're busting cans, punching paper, or hunting small game. But here's where things get interesting. Different bullet weights and velocities actually prefer different twist rates. Heavier, slower-moving subsonic rounds often perform better with a tighter 1 turn in 12 inches, while superlight, high-speed loads sometimes shoot more consistently with a slower twist. Mismatch your ammo to your barrel's twist, and you might start seeing sloppy groups, bullets yawing in flight, or even keyholing. That's why knowing your rifle's twist rate and pairing it with the right ammunition is one of the smartest moves you can make for accuracy. And even if you've nailed both barrel length and twist rate, there's still one quirk of the 22 long rifle: you have to respect the rimfire ignition system. Unlike centerfire cartridges, which fire from a primer in the center of the case, rimfires ignite when the firing pin crushes the outer rim. It's a clever, cost-effective design, but it's also more prone to inconsistency. Lower quality ammunition sometimes has uneven priming compounds spread around the rim, which can lead to weak ignition or outright misfires. Pair that with an older rifle that's running a worn firing pin or a tired hammer spring, and those problems can get a lot more frequent. A misfire doesn't just waste a round, it breaks your shooting rhythm, and that's a real headache if you're hunting or on the clock in a competition. You pull the trigger, hear a click instead of a bang, and now you're clearing the dud and hoping the next shot fires. Even premium ammunition will hiccup on rare occasions, but it happens far less with trusted brands. That's why good ammo is worth the investment. Combine that with regular rifle maintenance, keeping your bolt face clean, making sure your firing pin is sharp, and ensuring your chamber stays free of carbon buildup, and you'll cut down on most reliability issues. Still, rimfire has its trade-offs. You save money every time you shoot, but every once in a while you're going to get a click instead of a bang. That's just part of the deal. If you think rimfire ignition quirks are the only thing you need to watch out for with the 22 long rifle, you're in for a surprise. There's another key factor at play: ammunition sensitivity, and in the world of rimfires, it's a much bigger deal than many folks realize. This is especially true if you're running a semi-automatic rifle. Here's the thing. Semi-autos need a certain amount of gas pressure from each fired round to function properly. That gas energy is what pushes the bolt back, spits out the empty casing, and feeds the next cartridge into the chamber. When everything is dialed in, the action cycles smoothly shot after shot. But if you feed that rifle something soft like subsonic loads, it may not generate enough punch to cycle the bolt fully. The result? Short stroking, stovepipes, and the kind of jams that can turn a smooth day at the range into an exercise in frustration. This is where the humble bolt-action rifle really earns its keep. Since you're the one cycling the action, it doesn't matter if you're shooting whisper-quiet subsonics or standard velocity loads, it'll run just the same. For small game hunters or anyone who values silence and pinpoint precision over rate of fire, a good bolt gun is hard to beat. So how do you decide which platform is right for you? It comes down to priorities. If you want quick follow-up shots and you're happy sticking to loads with enough horsepower to keep the action moving, a semi-auto like the Ruger 1022 is a classic pick. On the other hand, if you want the flexibility to run everything from low-powered match rounds to specialty hunting loads without worrying about function, something like the Savage Mark II bolt gun will serve you well. Just remember, even rifles from the same brand and model line can be picky eaters. What cycles like a dream in one rifle might choke in another. Bolt guns give you the freedom to experiment without worrying about cycling issues, which is a big win for shooters who like to fine-tune their load selection. Now, let's talk about range. The 22 long rifle is a wonderfully efficient cartridge, but it's not built for stretching the tape. Inside 100 yards, it's a real performer. Push it past that and you're fighting gravity. By 150 yards, you're going to be dealing with serious bullet drop, which means your elevation adjustments need to be spot on. And then there's wind drift, arguably the 22's biggest weakness at distance. That light little bullet is so easily nudged by even a mild crosswind that it can drift several inches, sometimes more. It's humbling, sure, but it also adds a skill factor that keeps things interesting. Long-range shooting with a 22 long rifle forces you to read conditions and adapt on the fly. It's part science, part art. The best starting point is proper zeroing. If most of your shots are landing in that 50 to 70 yard window, sighting in at that distance gives you a point of aim you can trust. From there, if you want to go long, you'll need to learn holdovers and make friends with your wind calls. You can't turn a rimfire into a centerfire, but you can absolutely wring every bit of performance from it with the right skill set. At the end of the day, not every 22 long rifle is made for the same mission. Some are tack drivers built for precision, others are casual plinkers meant for fun afternoons. The real key is knowing what your rifle is designed to do, feeding it the ammo it likes, and respecting its limits. Do that, and you'll get the most out of this timeless little cartridge.